Okay, we are in Daf Kuf Mem Beis Amud Aleph, Kuf Mem Beis Amud Aleph, in the Bizibus Medrash. I hope everyone can hear me and Torah anytime and here. Basically, we are in Kuf Mem Beis Amud Aleph, Masechet Shabbos, Shiur Le'ilu Nishmas Mefadim Nachum Ben Akiva, and for the quick release of all the hostages and the quick recovery, all the foiling, Bezos Hashem, all the wounded soldiers, everybody. Kalkola ve'even besoicho. As I said many times this year, even if you missed the year before, we can definitely get back on track very quickly in our shiur. And the topic is Kalkola va'even besoicha, meaning, which means the Mishnah said, very simple. I mean, very simple pshat, but not simple halacha. The Mishnah said, Kalkola va'even besoicha. We're learning Masechet Shabbos, we're learning about Muktzeh, all very nice. And a person is allowed to take a basket on Shabbos. Kalkola is a basket. Take a basket on Shabbos, and in the basket there's a stone. Said to take the basket, even though there's a stone inside. Last time I checked, the stone is the epitome of Muktzeh. Regular stone, it wasn't shaped and it wasn't designated, dedicated, schmedicated. He picked the stone from the park, from the ground, stone. It was in the basket before Shabbos. It's in the basket, and you're allowed to take the basket and carry it around wherever you want. And the obvious question is, why is that true? Why is the Mishnah saying that? The kalkala should be basas davar asu. Yeah, we all know that if something is, so to speak, hosting muktzeh, you have a surface, a receptacle that has muktzeh inside of it, or in it, on it, in all kinds of conditions. If the normal situation is you left it there on purpose, and the basis serves the muktzeh item, the basis itself is also muktzeh. Yeah, if your boss is for muktzeh, you become muktzeh, right? You're helping muktzeh, you're muktzeh. So how come over here all of a sudden you're allowed to carry that item, which is really a muktzeh, bosses? Over here we're talking the kalkala melel beros askinan. We're talking about the kalkala full of fruit, meaning yes, there's a stone there, but the stone is not the only game in town. The stone is there, but it's also full of nice fruit. And usually in the Mishnah, we say fruit, we mean grains of wheat. You can eat them on Shabbos. You can have fruit there. So therefore, what? It's a basis for davar asul ve'amuto. And we all know that if you have a basis for something that's mutter and muktzeh together, then if the mutter is, if it's more important than the muktzeh, then good. Then you're allowed to carry the basis for davar asul ve'amuto. So it's an ukimta, but not a hard ukimta. We're talking here about a case of what? You have a stone, but true, you have other fruit as well, because the kalkala, the basket is hosting mutter and aser, it's allowed. The Gemara now, as the Ritva, will give an introduction. By the way, last time we spoke about this already. We're going to see now a very interesting yesod throughout the page that bosses of davar asul v'amuta, in some cases, it's very b'diavad. The Gemara will go out of his way again and again and again to try and avoid a situation, a situation in which we use the heter of bosses of davar mutar bosser. As we're going to see, the Ritva says that, and it's clear from the whole sugya. The Gemara, why are you so easily makel to take the basket with the fruit and the stones? I have a better solution. You want your fruit so much? What do you want to do? What's the guy's story? He wants to take the basket with the fruit from point A to point B. He wants to take it from the kitchen to the dining room because he wants the fruit. Okay. Why do you have to take the mutter and the aser together? There's an alternative solution. Throw away the fruit on the floor, throw them on the floor, throw the stone on the floor without touching it. Just empty, empty out the kalkola, the basket from mutter and osir and anything else. And take the fruit with your own bare hands, put it back in the basket, and take it. In other words, you want the fruit, get rid of everything, fruit, stone, shmon, bring back only the good stuff, the fruit into the basket, right? And then take it. Yeah, that would be a better solution. And then you're avoiding the basis altogether. Answers the Gemara, and Chinami, that would be true. But we have an Ukimta over here, Kedal Eloi. Our Mishnah is talking about the same case as Rabbi Eloi said somewhere else. Kedal Eloi, Omarav beperos mitanfin. Chinami beperos mitanfin, which means we're talking over here about fruit that is very soft, yeah, and is susceptible to dirt, which means if you think of fruit as apples, let's say, for sure nuts, you can clean them, even if they're on the floor, wipe them and you're okay. Let's say about strawberries or real soft figs. Yuck, the floor is full of dirt and it's disgusting. You won't be able to put them back and serve them. And because we're talking about persamitanfin, and there is no solution to throw them on the floor, only because of that will allow you to take the mutar and the osir. Mashma, and that's a lochin shulchan aruch. If you have fruit that is not mitanfin, if your fruit is nuts in the shell, throw them on the floor, throw the stone on the floor indirectly, put back the nuts, and go and serve them. All good. Here we're talking about a case when the parents are really too soft and not supposed and perishable, they can get dirty easily. That's why you don't throw them. What if you have another solution? Maybe you should simply, some kind of acrobatics. If they're all mixed together, try and shake the basket in such a way that the fruit will kind of be concentrated on the side, the stone will be in the middle, and then you throw out the stone. I don't know exactly. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but try and manage somehow to get just the stone out of the story, even if the fruit is very soft. You're talking here about something like, I don't know, pieces of pineapple exposed, or something like that. Bananas out of the peel, right? So try and shake the maneuver. Then try and get just the stone out, and then you still don't have the kula of carrying bosses muto because it doesn't look like we're so crazy over, right? Carrying bosses muto. Yeah. Omar of Chia Barashi, Omar Rove, answers the Gemara. And there are two girsois here. That's very important to know. Some people write Ella here and some don't. And soon we're going to explain. Omar of Chia Barashi, Omar Rove, Hoche bekalkolo pchusa askinan. We're talking here about a kalkolo that has a hole in it. The basket has a hole in the side or in the bottom. The even gufa nasis def in the kalkolo. First I'll translate, then I'll explain Bezos Hashem with a ritva, and then we're going to explain why you have two different girsois here. So the basic answer is as follows. We're talking here about a case in which the stone is actually serving and playing a role in the life of this kalkal of this basket. Basket has a hole in it. And you know what's stuffing the hole? The stone. Explanation number one is that the Gemara does write in the word Ela. Ela Omar Rav Chia. Look on the side. There is a Girsa Ela. We all know, or I hope we know, and I always say this to the Talmidim, when the Gemara says Ela, what does it mean? We are changing the answer completely. We're saying now a whole new answer. According to one explanation, we don't have to say that there are fruit in the kalkolo, and that's why you can move the stone. No, we're talking here about a stone that is very nicely, tightly connected, attached to the basket, and the stone itself is part of the basket. No problem. It's not Muktzeh anymore. It's part of the good guys. It joined the good guys team. It's now part of, because it's mehudak. If you remember, we had the previous sugya, eventually kiruya, around the kufkaf something, around the kufkaf gimel area in the kol kalim. If you have a stone that is in the pumpkin, so if the stone is tight and well adjusted there, what's the story? No problem. So now we can say Ella. Why Ella? You don't have to tell me the previous answer about Paris. No Paris. You can be an empty kalkala. You're carrying the empty kalkala for whichever reason. Why is the stone there? The stone is part of the party. The stone is so well attached and tied and whatever, strongly attached. That's right, Yeshaila. It's part of the best. Ritva says it. Yeah. Another that's Ritva's second pshat. I went to the end. First pshat is no. There are fruit in the basket, and we don't say Ella. we still need to talk about fruit being there. And the stone is not very strongly attached. The stone is like somehow located in a way that stops them from falling. That's why it's allowed. Because really it does serve them. It's not mamish part of the kolkola. If there were no fruit there, you don't need it. Because it's needed as to make sure that they don't fall, it's not standing. There's lots of fruit inside. Very good. That's why now the stone, even if it's not mamish part of the basket, and if the basket was empty, it wouldn't be good. But right now, it serves as a stopping thing for that. So in such a situation, worst comes to worst, what is it called? I think he says, I'm not sure, I have to check again, maybe you're carrying it indirectly, the stone, for the need of them or something like that. But Lamaisa, there is a need for the stone to stop them from falling. So even if it's not mamish part of the kolkola, it's also good enough. 1 second. Okay. So basically, I did check the Ritva now. One shot of the Ritva is yes, the stone is there. It's not so well adjusted, but Lamaisa, it's stopping the fruit from falling. Therefore, the stone itself is called a kli. It's called a fruit stopper. It's like the plug you have in your bathtub. Even if it's not part of the kolkola, because it's not well tied, but it's there, kind of standing in the way, so the stone is there to stop him from falling. That's a kli. If the stone is a kli, it's not muktzeh, it's good. But that's only if there's fruit inside. If there's no fruit, then it doesn't serve any purpose. Weiter. Very good. Okay, very nice. Okay. Later. Okay. Metaltalin, yeah, very good. Metaltalin truma. What did we say? The second thing we said in the Mishnah was, one is allowed to carry truma tmeya with tahira. A person, even if he's a kohen, you have truma tmeya. Truma tmeya is not a kli. Is mukt, is not food. Nobody can eat truma tmeya. If you're Israel, forget about truma altogether. If you're kohen, can eat truma tmeya. Chad misa tmeya. Right? It's not oil that you can burn. You should. It's fruit. Apples, oranges, grapes, tainim. You can't do anything with that. If you have a kalkala with truma tmeya, don't move it. It's muktzeh. But if you have a kalkala, a basket full of truma oil and tmeya, then go ahead and do it. Then you can carry it.
Truma tmeya, can you use animals?
If it's not Michael Behema, then it's not. I hear the question. You're saying maybe it's good for animals. So why don't we use it for animals? Could be it doesn't have animals. Could be some things animals don't like. Although conceptually you're right. Truma Tmeya can be eaten by animals of the Kohen, you're right. It's a good point. But I think something that's suitable for people, there is more of a problem. The big thing. Amar B'chizda. Lo yishonu ela shetoiro lemata. Rav Chizda is again. Oh, before we continue, we can already feel there's a question here. Why? We said Muktzeh basis of davar osur b'mutar is not so great, right? Not simple to take it. Says Rav Chizda just that. Amar Chizda lo yishanu ela shetoiro lemata v'tmeo lemala. If the tohira, imagine yourself there's two layers of fruit, and let's say the different fruit. You know which one's which. You have toma apples and tohor pears. Let's say if the tohira lemata, you have a basket. The top layers is the toma apples. In the bottom, you have the tmeya. Sorry, the other way around. The tahira is in the bottom. The tahira is the pears that are tor and good, and tmeya lemala. The top is a tome one, right? Then there's no way can reach the tahira because there's a barrier of muktzeh on top. Like the basket has a whole layer of weapon bombs on top. It's all full of muktzeh. I can't take. I want my desired pears, which are toho. I can't start rummaging and taking because there's muktzeh on top. So what do? You carry the whole thing to the dining room, to the table, to wherever I want. There I will throw the tome, and take the tar. That's what I want. And then it's okay. I have no other choice. What do you want me to do? But when you have the tar on top and the tome underneath, when it's the opposite, the tahor pears are top, and the tmeya apples in the bottom. Don't move the table. Yeah, shoki. There's another solution. Shokile letehoiro. Take the tar from the top. It's accessible. Take your pick it. If the tar is on top, Take the Torah straight away and eat it right there, or take it to the other place. The Shabbat and leave the Tamei alone. Right? That's it. In other words, when you can approach and access the Torah, do that. So the only heter of the Mishnah to take the Torah and Tomei together, and the whole basket is again a problem, right? So then what? If you have no choice, you take the whole thing together. Okay? If the Torah is on top, take the Torah and leave the Tomei there with the basket. Leave them. Just take the Torah straight away. They're the ones on top. Take them. Similar to the previous question. If you're so careful, so resistant of taking that basket with everything in there, Tomei v'Tor, Muktzeh, non-Muktzeh, so that's not good enough, the solution we said. Even if the Torah is in the bottom and the Tomei is on top, why are you carrying it to the other room? Why are you schlepping it? Nami, I have another, still use the same solution. Lishdinu velinkitinu. Throw away everything. Throw away the Tomei and the Torah. Throw them both. Then take the Torah out of the Tomei. Yeah, pick the Torah, put them together in the basket, and take the basket wherever you want. Yeah. Again, because Bosus Lamuto Bosu is not ideal. So throw them all, take the good one, put it back in the basket, and the basket will be purely pure Torah. Take it away. Same answer. As we said before, here is the source. Very good. We're talking about pears that may get dirty. They're not apples or pears, they're, whatever, peeled oranges. There are strawberries, they're figs. They're delicate, they get dirty, and therefore the throwing on the floor business is just not a solution. And therefore you take the Tom and the Tar reluctantly. So you see, Muktzeh, Tar, Osir, and Muktzeh together, not such great chicks, right? Mesivi. Oh, I ask you a question now. Before we continue, how come people take the Shabbos tray of the candlelight tray, the candelabra, the Shabbos lichten, you take it, or the tray is bosses dover osir, because the candlesticks are muktzeh. What do? You put something important there, mutter and osir together. Now it sounds like it's not so good. Now you're going to get the answer. Yeah, why do we use mutter, heter, and isser together? Mesivi, question of the Gemara from a Braisa. Metalton, says the Braisa, something that seems to challenge what Rav Chizda just said. Let me just summarize for half a second again. What did Rav Chizda say? Rav Chizda said, when the Mishnah allowed you to carry Torah and Tomei, very limited. It's only 50% of the cases. It's only true when and if the bottom one is a Tohor and the top is Tomei. I have no way to access the Tohor. I can throw away the top ones and the bottom ones. They're going to get dirty. Maybe the top I don't care maybe, but the bottom I do. And they're all going to fall, right? And therefore, I don't do that. No choice. But if the Torah is on top, no problem. The Torah is on top. Don't move the basket. Take out the Torah. Take it out. Put it in another basket if you want. Eat it right away. Whatever. All is good. Yeah. The Brisa seems to be saying not like Rav Chizda. Meisivi, the tatel in truma tmeya ima tehoiro ve'ima chulin. You're allowed to carry truma tmeya with truma tehoiro, which is not muktzeh, and with chulin. Clearly not muktzeh. Everyone can eat chulin. Listen to this. Ben shetoira lemala v'tmeya lemata. Did you hear that? Even if the Torah is on top and the Torah is on the bottom, you can still carry the whole thing together. Opa. You can carry the basket of bosses also bamuta, even though the Torah is on top and accessible for you. Mamish against Rav Chizda. Ben shetoira lemala v'Torah lemata. Or the other way around. The other way around is not a chiddush. Kivta Rav Chizda. Question of Chizda. Yeah, what's going on here? Rav Chizda is giving an answer which sheds a light on the whole sugya. Very, very simple, which means, why are you taking this whole basket with the fruit? Up until now, we assumed time and again and again and again, if I'm taking the basket full of weird fruit, but some of it is good fruit, why do I take it? I want the nice fruit. I like pears, So let's say you have, I can't eat truma. Let's say you have the truma tmei on top with the apples. The bottom is the good truma toyo. Then what? Take it as I, because you want to eat the fruit. And then we say, hey, you want to eat the fruit? If they're on top, take them straight away, right? If all you need is the fruit themselves, And there on top, the good ones, why do you need to schlep the whole thing? Take them straight away from the top and eat them straight away. That's only true if you need the gufoy. You need to eat the body of the fruit. And that's our Mishnah. And Rav Chisda was right in our Mishnah. However, the brisa which you challenge Rav Chisda, tzach mekoimoy. What tzach mekoimoy? You need a place for the basket. Don't tell me, leave the basket there, just take the good fruit. I don't need the fruit. I need the place. Somebody left the basket right there in the middle of my Shabbos table. It's Shabbos lunch and the guests are coming. What, to leave the basket there? I'll be a basket case. Yeah, so what? Take the whole, when there's no choice, because I need the space. You need the space of the baskets. You got to take the basket. And then no throwing away will help. And therefore we say, take the, I mean, maybe you could throw away everything, but even that wouldn't be so simple. I'll tell you later. But the Maisa, you need the space. Then you can take the good and the bad and everything together without throwing, take it as it is and move it to the other place. And I think I haven't, I mean, I went quickly through the halachos of the bosses now. I guess that's why there are a lot of people to do what they do. Why do people put on the candlestick tray something mutter? Say mutter no, so because you need the space, right? We don't do that because we always light candles not on the table, but some people light on the candle. And halacha this is shita. So you light on the table. I mean, on the table. Why do you take the mutter and also together? Because you need the space. That's allowed. That's we stomach why the kula is. I imagine. Now, fragtig more, after all said and done, my fragtig more asking on Rav Chisda, my duchke de Rav Chisda, what made Rav Chisda to be doichet? Why did Rav Chisda have to find a less choshev answer, kivyochol? Why is Rav Chisda nidchak to say, leukmi masnisin letzorech gufoy, which means, when you read our Mishnah, there are two ways to read the Mishnah. When we first read the Mishnah, says Rashi in the Havamina, we didn't think about top, bottom. We didn't care about where is the fruit located, right? We thought you can take, if you have good and bad fruit together, take the whole chabura and remove them. And that would be true if it's Tzorch Mekoimah. If Rav Chisda would have told me that the Mishnah is Tzorch Mekoimah, which is not a big ukimta, many times you need the space of items on Shabbos. So why did Rav Chisda go kivyochol, chalila, kivyochol like this, and had to tell me, we're talking here about you need gufoy, you need the fruit itself, not the place, and if you need the fruit themselves, it's only okay if what? If the tar are in the bottom. Why? Why can't Rav Chisda just leave the Mishnah as it is? Say that the Mishnah is top, bottom, shmatam, I don't care how it's arranged there, and whatever the case is, I can remove the basket because I need the space. Why did Rav Chisda dafke make an ukimta tzach gufoy, which requires another ukimta of whoever's on top, whoever's on the bottom? Rav Chisda had to do that. On the contrary, of course, Rav Chisda was right. Masnisin kavosedaike. Our very own Mishnah, meaning the next Mishnah, proves to be like Rav Chisda. Diktani Seifa. When we say Seifa here, we mean the next Mishnah, which we'll see in Amud Beis, Hashem. It says at the end of the Mishnah, Mois Shalakal. Let's say you have Mois Alakal. That's a case which we'll see later. Everything we'll learn here is about, bed, linen. Let's say a person comes home, Leil Shabbos, after the Tish. He wants to sleep. What does he see on the pillow? Fine. Money. Coins. Let's say the coins were not put there on purpose. Let's say the coins were there by mistake. You just forgot them there. Went back from the mikveh with some change. You threw them on the bed, on the pillow. What can you do? Menar sakarve noiflois. Why did they say you forgot them there? Because the Gemara says it's not bosses. If you forgot it there, it's not bosses. It happens to be there. Now you can't move the money itself. Why? Money itself you can't move. Why can't you move money for a tzorch mekoimoy? Because money is like a stone. Money is like machmas gufoy. But you can basically shake off the car, shake the pillow, and the coins will slide off, and that's good. Okay, fine, good solution. You tell me, is it a nice thing to do? I want to ask you a Balabatish question. Let's say these coins are worth money, are not 10 agorot. I don't know, they're big coins, kosher coins. Or today, bills, dollar bills, $100. Yeah. Wouldn't it be better if I was allowed to take the pillow with the money and put it somewhere safe and normal, like on the table, and then put back the pillow? Would be nicer for me, balbatishli. And yet the Mishnah does not allow you to do it. The Mishnah says, no, 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 stay right there, slide them off, they'll go down. Yeah, but you can't take the actual pillow and move it somewhere else with the coins on top and put them somewhere safe. Why not? Omar b'yochanan, lo shanu ela l'tzoyrech gufoy, which means if all you need is the pillow itself, you need to sleep on the pillow itself, you need the need of the pillow itself, the tzorch gufoy, you need to lie on it, you don't need to remove it, you need the pillow to stay there, then we say, what are you allowed to do? You can't move the pillow away. We are limiting your heter, and we say, no, freeze right there, slide them, shake them off, yeah, until they fall, and don't take them. If you need the actual space, let's say you don't want the pillow there. You're actually not interested in the pillow for whichever reason. You want something else there. Yeah. If it's sarach mekoimoy, if what you need is the space under the pillow, so you have to have the pillow out of there, whatever you do. Same idea. Allowed to carry the whole pillow with the coins on it. Oh, what does that show you? With the sefer l'tzach gufay and shenam l'tzach gufay, which means just like when the sefer was limiting your movements over over there it's not mutter and osur, over there it's not bossis, it's still to minatzad. You're carrying the money, minatzad, right? It's not bossis because that the pillow was not meant to carry the mois. It's minatzad. So just like over there, we see when it comes to the tiltul of the seifa of the Mishnah, we're talking about gufoy. What's gufoy? I need the pillow, and when I need the pillow, I am more limited. I can't just move the whole thing out. So to the Reisha, our basket story must be talking consistently. Mishnais are not always consistent, but as much as we try, we want them to be consistent. So too, the Reisha, our case, we're talking about when I don't need the space of the basket, I need the basket, meaning I want the tahor, good fruit in the basket, and therefore in such a case, I am more limited and I will not carry the basket. I'll take the yummy fruit, eat them straight away from the basket or take them out and leave the basket as it is because we want to retain the consistency, go for here and go for there. That's our Chisda made that of Kimta. But halachically, it's true what the Brisa says. Enochinami. Nobody argues on that. Rav Chisda would admit if you need the basket, the space under the basket, no choice. Whatever's in the basket, I need it. If it was only bosses of davar osir, no choice. Live with it. Tough. But if it's bosses davar mutar osir, then we allow mutar and osir together when there is no choice and you need a space. You can take bosses of davar also that bosses ledavar also mutar. If you need the space of the thing, take it up. And that's, I guess, what people do when they light the Shabbos candles and they want to remove the tray to put something else on it before Shabbos. You know it has to be before Shabbos. Because the status of Muktzeh is always determined as Shabbos comes in. Oh. Now we're going to learn the halachas, and that's to do with the end part of the Mishnah. Very, very interesting set of halachas. We're not going to finish it today, but we're going to start, Mitzvah Hashem, and that is halachas of Truma that was misbatel. Before we continue, we have to have a nice introduction. Everybody knows that not everybody knows, everybody here knows, I imagine, and that is that when you have a treif piece of chicken, make her din, treif chicken, looks like chicken and tastes like chicken, or we never tasted it, you're going to say it tastes the same. And then what? You have the treif of chicken, a small piece, not a big piece, a small piece of chicken, and there are two other pieces of chicken, mehadrin, badatze, the charedis, it's misbatel. You can eat all three of them, maybe one after the other, maybe two out of three. Conception is bitul barov. I'm not talking about shishim. Shishim is when they cook together. If they're not cooked together, they're cold pieces, like cold cuts, one treif and two kosher. I mean, I'm scared of paskening, ask your local Orthodox rabbi, but conception is the concept of bitul. Bitul is barov, one against two. Okay, what about truma? Truma, let's say you have truma, even truma tahora. You're not a kohen, and you have some truma that fell into your basket of regular fruit, it looked the same, smelled the same, tastes the same, was ready truma that's designated was supposed to be given to the kohen. So it's truma l'chol dover v'inyan, truma. Now that truma sadly fell back into the basket of regular fruit. What are the regular fruit? Chulin. It's not tevel anymore. Chulin. Me'ikar adin b'doraisa, it's bottle barov. If I have one grape against of truma against two grapes of chulin, I'd be able to eat them all, even if I'm not a kohen. Rabbanan made the gzera, takona, whatever you call it, and that is what? It's only misbata, the bechok is rishonim, but from our sug it's mashma, you have to have one against 100. Opa. If you have 1 kilo of grapes of truma that fell, if they fell into 100 kilos of grapes of chulin, then they're misbatel, yeah, against 100. Although the beetle is still conditional, as we're going to talk later, it's not the end of the story. There's more chumras coming. You have 100 kilos against that 1 kilo, then it's misbatel. But no, you can't eat them all. You have to take out one cluster, 1 kilo out of the 101. Together you have 101. Yeah, that's machlokes rishonim. It's 100, 102. Here it's mashma. This is the mainstream opinion, as far as I remember. 1 against 100 is misbatel. You have one unit of truma fell into 100 units of chulin. It's misbatel. But says the Mishnah in Truma a few times and over here, then before you make your nice bar priyat and you say, I tricked the system, I can hit the truma of the thing. Don't be so happy so quickly. You first of all have to take out of that mixture of 101, you have to take 1 kilo, let's say 1 kilo fell, take 1 kilo of grapes of whichever. We don't know if it's the same ones, but we behave as if we do. We can say symbolically, take 1 kilo out of the 101, and we kind of halachically assume it's the same one, even though it may not be. And then you can eat the rest, gesundheit, don't forget to make a bracha, and then you can eat 100 kilos of grapes. Good luck to your digestive system. Okay? But that's basically the halacha. Our Mishnah said, we're not going to go very far today here, but okay, at least an introduction for tomorrow. What our Mishnah said, B'Shem Rabbi Yehuda, says Rabbi Yehuda, one thing you're allowed to do on Shabbos, because we're talking about fruit, mixture, tmua, toira, tmea, says Rabbi Yehuda, listen to this. On Shabbos itself, on Shabbos day, let's say you're polishing for these grapes, one of the grapes, or your guests are coming, you want it, mea barachas, l'shem shamayim, l'shem shamayim. Only eating in Shabbos, l'shem shamayim, of course, only. What happens then, Rabbeinu, Rab David? Now, you're allowed to take the one cluster, 1 kilo, one whatever of truma, of supposed truma, out of the mixture, and then eat the rest. It's not gorer, they're all the same, although halachically not, but whatever. The mice, they all look the same, feel the same. Take out the one cluster, which may not be the truma, that symbolizes the truma. Take it out, and then now you have a nice bowl of fruit. Beteavon, bon appetit. Hey, you can eat it, all great, all good. Why is that a chiddush? Why does something here doesn't work right? You tell me. Why? Because we all know that you cannot go to the ritual bath of the keli. Even people, it's not simple, you know that. You do, but it's shaila. Well, you do, I know. Mikveh keli, why can it be toivel mikveh on Shabbos? None of the 39, but it's a halachic tikkun. Why can't you take meiser? Sometimes you can, but mostly you can't. Why can't you take meiser? It's halachic tikkun. Says then Rashi something. If you do halachic tikkun, you should be goizer tikkun al malacha. In other words, if in my mindset I can make things work for me on Shabbos and make them magic-like from non-usable to yes usable, in halachic terms, I take meiser, I take to mikveh, even psak halacha. The chacham can't pass him to the bechor on Shabbos. Yeah. Can't pass him that the bechor is balmum because then it's mutar lachila. But the kohen, you can't make halachic changes to stuff on Shabbos. How come that's allowed? It's exactly the same thing. Before the 101 was all mixed and everything was mixed together, I was not allowed to eat it. I took out one seah, 1 kilo, one whatever grapes. Done. Now I am allowed to eat it. That's a halachic tikkun. How come it's allowed? Cliffhanger. You got to stay with us tomorrow. Otherwise, you're not going to know the answer. Woo, that's scary. We're in the middle of the scary part of the story, and the Gemara will give us an answer tomorrow. Hashem. Thank you so much for everybody on Torah Anytime that's following us. A lot of followers, but Hashem and the Chashav Tzibur over here. Thank you so much. Hashem should bless you all with every good thing. A gita shidduch for all the children. Gita shidduch.